Okay, part two of this review. So, yeah, where Claus gets to witness how the farmers are being treated harshly by the squire. Well, it's not actually, I got it wrong. It's not the Lord of the Mountain, it's the Lord of the Manor. So he wants them to keep working and didn't give them any food. So one of the little kids tried to steal a turnip because he was hungry. And then the squire caught him. He's like, "Put that back. One more trick like that and you'll be going back to the orphanage." And Claus did not like the way the squire treats the little boy. It's like, "Hey, it's just one turnip. Kid, you can take it." So not knowing that he's invisible, so yeah, Claus and the Great Axe are invisible to the people they are seeing. So the Great Axe says like, "It's no use, Claus. There's nothing you can do." And Claus is like, "Is this how mortals act towards one another? It seems so cruel compared to our world." But then the Great Axe did point this out, which is a good point. Man is inhumanity to man. In a way, yeah, that is a good point. Even throughout history, mankind has always been inhumanity to man in a way. Or cruelly, horribly in a way. Then he has, "Is this how mortals live like this?" And then Great Axe says, "Come, we have more to learn." And then he takes him to the manor where the Lord of the Manor is at, where he's eating lots of food with the family, his family. And he said he was reported by the squire that those sacks, these farmers, the poor farmers, are acting up again. And one of the little brats tried to steal one of my turnips. Oh, imagine that. And the wife kept going like, like, and only replied to that. Although, yeah, when Claus overhears this, he's like, he only took it because he was hungry. And it's fine for you because you got everything you need. Yeah, because they were snobbish royalists. And then the Lord of the Manor says, "And then one of the other brats wanted to learn to read. Imagine that. Next thing you'll be knowing they want to write. And you would not want to learn to read and write, do you?" He was talking to his butler, who replied, "Of course not, sir." It's like, man, aristocrats don't like people wanting to learn to read and write? If that's the problem with the modern school system, that would make sense. Yeah, and then he said, "If they all learn to read and write, they'll be having what we have. Oh, and we cannot have that." With snobbish, aristocratic pricks. And then the Great Axe takes Claus back to traveling. And he did not like the way how some humans act. And the Great Axe says that he is mortal himself. Because Claus didn't know that he's mortal. And he said that he will be mortal until he'll be nothing but a memory to the immortals. And he's like, "I don't understand." And he's like, "Come, we have much more to learn." Then he takes him to China, where they see two boys learning to be samurais. Although Claus was like, "What are they doing? Are they playing a game?" But the Great Axe says, like, they are learning to be samurais, warriors who will die in battle for honor, and not for their lord, of course. And that man is their teacher. So Claus did not also like how the kids practice so harshly. And then when the boy gets to face his teacher, he's like, "Stop! He's just a little boy." But yeah, they couldn't hear him or see him, and he just hurts the kid harshly. Yeah, Claus didn't like it as well. He's like, "He's just a little boy." And the Great Axe says he is learning to be an adult, to survive in the human world. And Claus points out like, "But he should be doing what I do as a child, laughing and playing." Yeah, Great Act and takes them to India next, where they see two kids who are homeless. No mother, no father, just living on the street, only wanted to help from generosity. And Claus wanted to do something to help them. And then the Great Act takes them to where they see two knights that are fighting for a cause. And he's like, good cause? And the Great Act says something like that, but it's about, people going at war because they disagree about things. Yeah, Claus did not like how people would go to war just because they would disagree on things. Yeah, even in this modern time we're in. So then the Great Act decides that, it takes some more traveling. Claus wanted to do something to help people, so that way, from making a more harsher and cruel world. And the Great Axe tells him that he must follow the star to lead his own path, so that way he might find a way to help people. Oh yeah, and the party also says that man often follows on their own for how the world is, in a way, something like that. And so Claus packs up his things. Well, they're back to the forest of Burzy, where he says goodbye to everyone, like his mother Nessie, the wood nymph, and Tingler, Shiegra, the jaguar, and Peter the Nook. And okay, if you guys don't know what the heck is a Nook, you're like, hey, what the heck is a Nook? How about you give us an explanation, dude? So basically, Nooks are small, gnome-like forest creatures described as crooked and rogue-looking, whose special duty is to watch over and manage the wild animals, making sure they obey the laws of the forest, and help Santa, in a way. So now you know what a Nook is. About time I explained it, huh? And Claus also says goodbye to Queen Serene and the Great Act. But the Great Act decides to send Tingler and Shiegra to go with Claus on his journey. It's like, you guys are coming with me? And Tingler starts saying yes in each different language. I guess he's supposed to be like the comic relief, in a way. Boy. And so they went off, and through the forest they go until they found a place where it snowed. It makes you think it's like the North Pole. They managed to find the North Pole already. But what Tingler calls it is the Laughing Valley of Ho-Ha-Ho. Yeah, that's the place, that's what they call it, the Laughing Valley of Ho-Ha-Ho. It's a place where it's always snowing, and it's always winter. So it's also called Laughing Valley of Santa Claus, or the Happy Valley. So basically, the North Pole that Santa lives in, part of it is the Laughing Valley. Huh. Rather than just call it Santa's Village, it's the Laughing Valley, or the Laughing Valley of Oh-Ha-Ho. So Claus actually says, yeah, he likes this place. I like the snow, and I like the name. And then they decide to take camp. So they take camp under the bright star. And then they woke up. Yeah, Tingler's bought hey Claus, look! Helpers! Visitors! So actually someone built a house for them. Yeah. And so it turns out it was the wood nymphs, the pixies, and the nooks that helped out. So they all have a meal together, and Claus holds a cup up. It's like, thank you all. I will do something to make you all very proud of me. And so Claus gets to travel to each places where he helps kids to read and write, and then plays the games with them. And then times pass, he's grown into a middle-aged man with a beard, because he's no longer in his 20s. And then now he's probably in his 40s now. He's all fat and he's growing a beard. That's how he be the Santa Claus we all know. Right now, currently in his 40s. And then Claus sits by the fireplace and carves of wood, while Shiegra, the lioness, lays on the ground with a black cat that just came there, named Blinky. Although Shiegra was like, although Tingler just tells, like, Jago, you got to learn to live with her now. So, turns out, yeah, Necile brought them Blinky to live with them just to learn to live together. And then they heard a sound coming from outside, and when they looked outside, they found a little boy who was lost and frozen, laying on the ground. So they all took him inside, warmed him up, and covered him in a blanket in a way, just to get him warmed up. So the boy's name is Wickham. He's an orphan. So I think I'm going to stop right here. So see you guys in part 3 of this review.